and to our dear participants. Okay, my name is Krista Escobar. I'm an instructor at the Department of Medical Technology, College of Nursing, Cavite State University. And I will be your moderator for this evening. Okay. Before we start our webinar proper, wait lang po. Okay. Let us put ourselves first in the most holy name of our Lord. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Almighty Lord, we praise and thank you for this another learning opportunity. We ask you to bless our gathering today and favor us with your presence. For those in charge in this webinar, help us to fulfill our goals and align our intentions to your will. For the participants, guide them as they listen to our webinar speaker, to what our webinar speaker will impart to us. And this we pray in the most holy name of our Lord Jesus Christ. Amen. Okay. So we are now in the day 1 of the 3-day webinar series entitled Data Collection, Doing the Right Thing from the Very Start. So we hope that you could also attend our upcoming webinars for this webinar series on April 14 and April 21. This event is an initiative of the ETCOR Educational Research Center under its advocacy project SAGIP MANANALIKSIK for Everyone, which main aim is to help researchers, students, and professionals all over the country, especially during this time of pandemic. Project SAGIP MANANALIKSIK for Everyone, our webinar series covering the DepEd's MELCS-aligned topics for research subjects such as Practical Research 1 and 2, Inquiries, Investigations, and Immersions, or the 3 Is, and the Research Capstone. And we, as research consultants, serve as speakers or moderators. And this is different from another project, which is a project SAGIP MANANALIKSIK One-on-One, where we adopt one senior high school learner from our list of student beneficiaries and assist him or her in his research journey. Both of these projects are with DepEd Advisory. Okay, so this wouldn't be possible without the untiring efforts and dedication of our hands-on overall project coordinator. So we have Dr. Bernadette L. Harde, our overall project coordinator for the project SAGIP MANANALIKSIK for Everyone. And we also have Dr. Adrian Lawrence P. Carvajal, our overall project coordinator for the project SAGIP MANANALIKSIK One-on-One. Okay. And we as research consultants are very grateful for the unending support and guidance of our very own and very devoted head research consultant of ETCOR, Dr. Richard D. Sanchez. Let's give them a virtual round of applause. Okay, so to formally start our webinar, it's my pleasure to introduce to you Dr. Glenn L. Villones. He is the ETCOR coordinator for Region 11 and a Master Teacher 1 at the Francisco Bongoy National High School, located at Sasa, Davao City. So, again, this is Dr. Glenn Villones for our welcome remarks.
Good morning, good evening, everyone. Indeed, it's an honor to share to you to welcome you all for this day 1 webinar. To the head consultant of ETCOR, Dr. Sanchez, to the coordinators, and to the consultants, and to all the participants of today's evening's activity. Good evening once again. So for this evening, this is very exciting since our speaker will deliver an important part of research, that is the research design. Since most of the practitioners right now have this dilemma on what to use, if it is quantitative or qualitative design. So this time it's very important for us to be guided on what kind of design are we going to use. And please sit back, pay your attention, and take note of everything that the speaker will be sharing for this evening. And once again, thank you for the opportunity, Dr. Sanchez, for placing me or making me as one of the coordinators and a part of this very exciting research group. Once again, I welcome you all to this first uh, webinar about the project MANANALIKSIK. Good evening once again.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Glenn. Okay, so after the lecture, this is just our webinar highlights or webinar flow. After the lecture, there will be an oath taking of the newly appointed ETCOR regional coordinators. Then we will have our Q&A portion. And then after that, if you are interested to get your certificate of participation, you will be given a post-webinar activity that you need to submit to our lecturer, Dr. Conrad, and CC to our to ETCOR official email address. That will be posted in our group chat later or in our chat box later. Okay. So just some few reminders. This webinar is being recorded. Keep your microphones turned off or in mute. You may or may not open your video camera. And for identification purposes, include the acronym of your institution, the last name and first name, just like the example given. And please use the Zoom chat box to submit your questions, and this will be entertained after the talk. And the last thing is the evaluation form link will be posted in the chat box at the end of the webinar. Yeah. So it is my honor to introduce to you our research speaker this evening, Dr. Conrad M. Buerkley. Dr. Conrad M. Buerkley is a licensed professional teacher and holds a degree, Doctor of Education in Educational Management, which he earned at Don Honorio Ventura State University in 2019. He is also a master's degree holder in educational management at Philippine Normal University in 2012, and a graduate of Bachelor of Secondary Education, major in Computer Education at Holy Angel University in 2007. He started as a full-time faculty member at Holy Family Academy Grade School Department from 2008 to 2015 and was a former student activities coordinator and computer coordinator. In 2015, he started serving at Mabalacat City College and became the program head for elementary education in 2016. Field of Study Head for Professional Education in 2017, and Field of Study Head for Secondary Education in 2018 to 2019. And Vice President for Research and Extension Services this school year. Presently, he is the Dean of the Institute of Arts, Sciences, and Teacher Education. Outside MCC, Dr. Buerkley is affiliated as a research consultant and a committee member or project coordinator for the project SAGIP MANANALIKSIK for Everyone of ETCOR, and a project committee member at the Philippine Association for Teachers and Educators, Region 3. Dr. Buerkley is a mentor, coach, researcher, instructor, administrator, and a motivator by heart. Okay, so let us give him a virtual round of applause.
Thank you so much, Ma'am Karen. Can you all hear me loud and clear po?
Yes po,
Yes
Doc.
po.
Thank you so much. Actually, I just recently finished my presentation at the last minute. I because we had a meet.
Doc Conrad, nakamute po kayo.
Mo ata ako eh. Joke. Okay, let's start po. I'll be sharing my slide presentation. I believe this is for student of the senior high school, but I can see a lot of teachers and my co-consultant here. So they can help me if there will be a questions later. So let's start po. Until 12 midnight ba tayo, Ma'am Karen?
Pwede naman po.
No, kidding aside, okay, I'm sharing my screen to everyone now. I hope the audio will be heard also. So can you see my screen already?
Yes po.
Okay, so that's the full blown. So medyo blur lang, no? I just copy it a while back. So I hope you take your lunch kasi po hindi pa ako nag-lunch. I have my coffee at my side, no? Good evening, Sir Richard. Thank you for this opportunity. And to
Good
my
evening din po.
colleague, Dr. Cabahal is here. Medyo kinakabahan ako pag nandito si Doc. Anyway, thank you so much for this opportunity. Ma'am Bernadette, I hope okay na po kayo. So next slide will be the flow of my lecture. The moderator presented it a while back. So this will be the first one that I'd like to share. You know, it's a strategy called picture analysis. I hope the students are listening as well as the teacher. So I'll be calling a student, okay, based on this picture. What did you notice? Any student in this virtual floor, okay, you can answer, or I can interact with you. Kung ano nakikita natin. Meron bang student dito, Sir Richard?
Hello
Marami
po,
po.
good evening po.
Yes, you can answer. With this picture, what did you notice? Anyone can answer. Student, please. Okay, parang nahihiya yata. Magtawag tayo, Sir Richard. O sige po, anyone po will lead the sharing. What did you notice about the picture? Honestly, para po ma-lead natin yung listening skills and then yung thinking skills.
In my case, she's a frontliner.
Yeah, a frontliner. Very good analysis for the picture. What about the text? Anyone? What about the text?
Encouraging everyone po to take the necessary things in order to prevent the spread of virus po.
Okay, that's a deeper analysis for
Everyone's
qualitative
responsibility.
research. Yeah, that's a deeper analysis leading to qualitative. What else po? Last one. Tipo ba blurred siya, right? So ako na yung sasagot. The picture is blurred, isn't it? Okay, meaning kapag blurred po ang ating gagawing study, medyo marilihis po tayo ng landas. Okay, whether quantitative or qualitative research. Kanina may sumagot dun sa meaning ng picture. So that would be the qualitative part of research. Now, if you are technically inclined, so in details and so forth, binibilang nyo kung ano, blurred siya and so forth, hindi nyo mabilang kung ilan yung blurred, hindi nyo babasa, let's figure it out with quantitative research, meaning by numbers, okay, by statistical numbers, numerical numbers or data. Okay, another picture analysis. So, in deeper perspective, para po ano tayo, I hope everybody is listening. So the message is clear. It's for all of us that people may destroy your image, stain your personality. People may destroy your research proposal. Excited yung mga batang mag-propose ng research proposals nila. Since this is their first time, the advisor reject it. instantly, for example. So we are losing the motivation of the student to write research. No? Presenting a picture analysis leading to research is very important to know their qualitative interests and wants to pursue research. Strand is very important in senior high school research, whether UMS, ABH, or TechPoc. Okay, so alignment of thinking is very important. So comes the title of the research and statement of the problem as well. So the box of knowledge will give them the surprise. No? If we are teaching research, now I'm teaching the research design, no, leading to writing. I'd like to motivate the student to think of a box of knowledge full of surprises. I want you to imagine a box. Then if you open a box, you have a collection. Now, those collection rather may lead to historical research for qualitative research. Now, if you have collections of full of bricks, shapes, octagon shapes, pentagon shapes, and so forth. So you are inclined to numerical data. So I want you to think first of your interests when you write research. Okay, when you write research pertaining to quantitative or qualitative research. So your box of knowledge is yours. So I want you to open your box after this lecture and think of your interests. Put them all, write them all, and then you can pick 3 of your favorites. Then start writing anything that you want to write. Then you come up with an interest. Then you can start writing whether quali or quantitative research. So leading through. So I hope this will be played and the audio will be played.
Hi, good afternoon.
Can you
Welcome to
hear?
my whiteboard session for this day. I'm your speaker for today,
Can you hear the
Conrad M.
audio?
Buerkley from Mabalacat.
Yes, sir. Yes,
po.
sir.
Okay,
As
thank
you
you.
can see on the backdrop, we have the pie of MCC. In the center, we have the MCC logo. We share the same pie. A pie stands for passion, integrity, and excellence. As far as the pie increases, the level 2 circle connotes with the 3 squares, which is the 4 M's, the 4 P's, and the 4 C's. To get the topic for today, the use of the RAPS language and the FHE approach for effective communication in the new normal classroom. Are you ready?
Okay, that is an example of a whiteboard session. When I teach research, no, I will draw first the skeletal format of the framework, and then I will be discussing based on quantitative and qualitative research. At that whiteboard session, it is clear that leading to the motivating of writing research is for the use of the relaxed language and FHL model. So for the students to understand research, whether quanti or quali, I want you to focus on their relaxed language. No? If we're teaching research, we do not use full-blown English language. No? Let them speak. Let them speak with their fluent language. If they want to speak in Kapampangan, if they want to speak in Filipino. No? This is for the teacher participants. No? For the student naman, if you want to write research, do not be afraid to ask questions leading to your statement of the problems or your statement of objectives or your title per se. No? This is a conceptual framework to discuss everything that you want to build. No? The purpose will give you the planning. Planning, think of your title, think of your SOPs. So the producing of your statement of the problem will be focusing on the advice of your advisor, presenting it, and then leading to publication and so forth. So you need to have the values of masigasig, no? Yung mapamaraan, no? Yung eager ka na gawin yung research mo, no? Kahit ilang beses ka nadapa, ilang beses kang pinagalitan ni teacher, you need to write your research, no? The relaxed language will be the language that we will be using, Filipino, Tagalog, or Kapampangan. For the student, you need to have faith on your research, whether quanti or quali, no? You need to have faith that you can finish it. Isn't it sa high school, binibigyan niya ng dual partner, minsan tatlo. I think that's the maximum, no? Minsan may isang professor, bibigyan siya ng individual research, no? These are all strategies of your teacher. But mind you, they are training you on how to write research. So you need to have faith on them, no, both. You need to have hope also to really write the research per se. Ne? Love for research is there, love for writing is there, matatapos din to. Yung attitude na kaya natin to, no? The teacher and the student relationship matters, no? That is why ETCOR is sharing their line of expertise. I hope I can share mine. That is why we are helping build the research-oriented skills that we are leading to. No, I want you to use this language, the Filipino language, your relaxed language, whatever language that you have, maybe Bisaya, Ilocano, and so forth. That's your relaxed language para magkaintindihan po kung ano yung pinipertain at tinuturo natin sa kanila sa research. It doesn't mean that high-polluting words matters na excellent na siya or scholastic na yung research kapag high-polluting yung mga words. No. The clearer, the better. No? The simpler, the better. Lalo na po, first time nilang gumawa ng research paper, a research output, statement of the problem. Title pa lang po, nahihirapan na ngayon. Okay? So let us just put down the level of their mind setting in completing their research. Okay? So, yun lang po yung gusto kong sabihin. So, I'm presenting a framework para makita nyo kung paano gumawa ng quali at saka ng quanti based dun sa mga illustrations. No? Nowadays, students are visuals. Okay? This is the third illustration that I would like to share to you. Again, nasa circle yung relaxed language. Now, this is kanina. The other one is pure quali. Now, I inserted a quantifying variables for the 4Cs, 4Ps, and 4Ms. No? This is the statistical treatment. No? For quali, and then this is the quantifying. Okay? Gagamit tayo ng statistical tool. Later on, you will know the statistical tool kung anong gagamitin natin sa use ng quantitative research and then anong gagamitin sa qualitative research. Okay? Framework for visuals learner. Okay, so kanina sinabi ko na yung RAX language and the efficient model. Okay, this is now the quantitative research design. What is a quantitative research design? Okay, am I speaking too fast, Ma'am Karen? Can you hear my voice clearly?
Okay lang po, sir.
Okay, thank you so much. So these are the essential parts of the research methodology. I think research design is on chapter 2. Okay. So these are the complete elements of the research methods in chapter 2. First, this is the topic for today, the research design. Different research design in quantitative and qualitative research. To complete the research methodology, this is the essentials, okay? The research design, respondents of the study, participants of the study, key informants, instrument, data collection, data gathering, ethical consideration, and data analysis. At the end of the day 3, ETCOR will share all of the information as far as the research methodology is concerned. Okay, if you will notice, for the quantitative research, they are using the respondents word of the study. Okay, respondents. Okay, for the participant, it will be used for qualitative research. If we are combining both, we are using key informants of the study. Am I clear on those 3 words, my dear students on the virtual floor? I'll be repeating that. For quantitative research, you will be using the word respondents. For qualitative research, you will be using the word participant. For the mixed method approach, kung leading man kayo doon, you will be using the word key informants. Okay, moving further. Okay, what is a qualitative research? Now, according to Watson, 2014, this research design encompasses a range of methods concerned with the systematic investigation of social phenomena using statistical or numerical data. Okay, I want you to focus on the statistical and numerical data because this is the core essence of quantitative research. When we are referring to numbers, so ang gagamitin natin, kung kinukompute natin yung mga numbers, mga percentage, gagamit tayo ng quantitative research. Anong gagamitin natin sa paggawa ng quantitative research? Okay, we will be using the statistical tools. What are the statistical tools? And what are the tools that we are going to use when it comes to quantitative research? So, how? So, ang chapter 2, meron siyang introductory paragraph, no? So, pag sumusulat kayo ng quantitative research, palagi niyong inuumpisahan sa paragraph, no? This is my gift for you. This is a simple writing skills that you can take picture on it. Okay, this is my research dissertation actually. Introductory part, no, it's just simply simple words for us to understand. Kahit sino magbasa, mababasa niyan. Allow me to read it. This chapter mainly discusses the methods and procedures to be employed in the conduct of the research study. It includes the following. Number one, these are the essential, right? So magpuput ka lang ng kama. Research design, respondent/participant, instrument and its validation, data collection, ethical consideration, and data analysis. Now, you can copy this introduction based on your chapter 2 if you have this following essentials. Number one, research design. Number two, respondent for participant and instrument and so on. Okay? Ito na yung kakailanganin mo kung gagamit ka ng quantitative research. Okay? You need to have a checklist. Okay? Ano ba yung kailangan mo? Like for example, you want to study the grades of the student. Okay? The grades of, or your grade on first grading, second grading, third periodical, fourth periodical. Okay? You need to have a checklist kung ilan yung grade mo sa first grading, second grading, third grading, mga ganyan. Okay? Survey questionnaire, you need to have a survey questionnaire for your quantitative research. Okay? Observation method. Pwede rin gumamit ng observation method sa quantitative research. Okay? Lalo na kapag ginagamit mo ay action research. Okay? An action research pertains to the range of 6 months or kung papayagan ng mga teachers nyo, it can delimit up to 3 months and so forth para matapos yung research paper. Is the agreeable decision of the research teacher and the student per se. Basta nakasulat dun sa scope and delimitation ng quantitative research. Are you still with me?
Yes po.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
thank you so much po. Medyo mahirap po talaga nagdi-discuss. Parang wala po
Yes
kayong...
po, sir.
Anyway, thank you so much po. So you can also
Yes,
use an
boss.
average mean. Okay, an average mean, add mo lang ilang yung mga grades mo from lahat ng grade mo, add mo siya, that's the average. Kung i-weighted mean mo naman siya, bibigyan mo lang siya ng scale. Okay? Later, I will be showing a scale or Likert scale kung paano siya gamitin. Okay? Meron tayong tinatawag na ranking. Okay? Kapag nirank mo yan, so alin mauuna, ano ba yung favorite subject mo? Pag ginawa mong quantitative research ang grade mo, makikita mo in a glance kung alin yung pinakamataas mong grade. Like for example, in math, 97 ka. Tapos sa English, 78 ka. Of course, ang rank 1 mo is math subject. Pero paano mo siya gagawing quantitative research design? So gagamit ka ngayon ng statistical tools. Okay? Like yung survey questionnaire. Tapos papavalidate mo yan sa statistician mo. Okay, you can also use standard deviation, frequency distribution, and of course we have the SPSS program. I believe the senior high school, other schools are using SPSS program to interpret the result of their table using Excel. Okay, I hope all the research teachers out there are teaching the student on how to encode through Excel and run the SPSS program. So a Likert scale will give you a statistical analysis based on your quantifiable research design. No? Later on, I will give you the sample of a Likert scale. No? But for quantitative research, I'm encouraging everyone that you will not use an odd number like 3, 2, 1. I'm suggesting that it's even number, no? Like 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, why? Because Filipino setting nowadays, as far as my research is concerned, we are safe to use number 3. Okay? Yung gitna. Kapag ginamit mo ay add number like 4, 3, 2, 1. So lahat, hindi na magbabasa yan, answer sila na number 3 kasi nasa middle. Okay? Para safer. Para kunwari, binasa nila yung mga questionnaires mo, mga checklist mo, and so forth. So, to give a quantifiable and statistical data analysis, you will be using an even number like a Likert scale ranging 4, 3, 2, 1. I'll give you a sample later, including the descriptive analysis and the interpretive interpretations. Okay, moving forward. So, later papakita ko yung sample. Finish lang natin yung qualitative. This is now the qualitative research design. I focus on the qualitative research design with different designs because this is the highlight nowadays to use a qualitative research, okay? As well as quantitative research, no? I find qualitative research much essential to my expertise. So I'll be sharing 5 designs for qualitative research. I hope the students there will get their interest, whether they would like to research the whole book, whether they would like to research a movie, and so forth and so on. There is a qualitative research design for you. Okay? So these are the essentials. Kanina sinabi na natin, kagaya rin ng quantitative, ganyan yung research essentials. So a qualitative research design, according to Gosson 2015, as cited by Mercado 2018 and yours truly 2019, means that the type of study gives meaning. Okay? When we give meaning to the quality of the standing facts that are going on, therefore we are qualifying the quality of that research. Okay? So madali lang siyang intindihin. Pinaganda lang namin ni Dr. Mercado yung sinabi ni Gozon. So that is why we cited the idea of Gozon and highlighted the meaning and quality of standing facts. What is the standing facts nowadays? It's COVID-19. That is why I presented an issues on COVID-19 in the picture analysis that I am leading towards. Okay, so COVID-19 is the essential, the standing facts nowadays, the facts that are going on. So qualitative research will give you a better study on how to prove ano yung magandang gagawin, ano yung magandang research this time of the new era of new normal. So, the next normal na tayo, no? New normal na tayo. So, ang tinatawag nating mga research ngayon is the next normal, no? Hindi na kasi tayo babalik sa old normal. Wala naman old normal, no? Ang tawag natin doon ay traditional strategy, traditional setting. So, here comes COVID. Ang tawag natin doon, new normal. Kapag gagawa kayo ng qualitative research or any type of research design, ang tawag na natin doon ay next normal. Okay? So, I'll give you a specific example. Like, for example, COVID-19, the next normal. That is a qualitative in nature, but yung nilalaman niya, it's very in-depth. Okay? Pag-uusapan lahat. Something like that. Okay? So, one example is historical method of research. Okay? Historical method of research, this is according to Ariola, no? It's the meaning of events, no? It's the meaning of events. It deals with the meaning of events. Dito pa mapasok kapag favorite mo yung history. Okay? Dito pa mapasok kapag may collection ka, no? Because Arceo and Lutierio 2006 made mention that historical research, I want you to focus on strictly on the past event, history. These are history books and somewhat different than much of the other research methodologies. No? History of the past. Now, the following examples are, like for example, we want to examine a document of the period. Okay, examining a document. So that is document analysis. Okay, if you want to examine a document in a certain period, you need to range it kung ilan years lang ang gusto mong mangyari. Like for example, you want to examine the documents from 2000 to 2010. That's 10 years. Okay, you can use the impact evaluation when it comes to historical methods, when it comes to document analysis, something like that. Like you want to examine relics. Okay, a relics is for historians, no, anthropologists, no, relics na old. Like for example, yung lumubog na church sa San Guillermo Church, no? You need to examine the relics. Anong nangyari sa mga relics na yun, okay? Kung gusto niyo may mahilig kayo sa collection, so I'm suggesting that you need to use a historical method of research. The use of qualitative method, historical research method, yung approach natin. Okay, number 3, interviewing individuals who lived during that time, no? Interview method of individuals. So, ibig sabihin pala, pwede kang gumamit ng historical method of research kahit isang tao lang yung ini-interview mo. That's purely qualitative research. Okay? Yung pinakamatanda siguro sa sa bayan ng Pampanga, yung, like for example, sisig ni Aling Lusing, like something like that. No? You need to study the sisig of Aling Lusing, historical method, kung ilan yung kumakain, kailan na-built yun, and so forth. So something like that. No? So you need to have an in-depth interview of that one person for a qualitative research design using historical method of research. Okay. Further, I explained it in a glance. It was made to reconstruct what happened during the past, and as the researchers documented the scenery. Okay, documented the scenery. So gagamit ka ng picture. Kaya nga priniset ko kanina yung picture analysis. So magka-capture ka ng picture, no? Historical method when it comes to food, like hotel and restaurant, no? Anong track ba yon? ABH ba yung may hotel and restaurant? Or cookery? Okay, cookery in textbook, okay? Something like that. If your strand is in cooking, you can use historical method when it comes to food or when it comes to events, no? And books per se, no? Or the documents per se. Or fiesta, like something like that. Okay, this is my favorite type of qualitative research, is the so-called content analysis method. Okay, allow me to read the meaning. So content analysis method, this type of research method is more of a qualitative in nature than to quantitative method research. So dun pa lang, ino-omit na natin yung quantitative method. This is according to Ariola. No? He made mention that this method evaluates the narrative form, content of documents. Content of documents, that's number one. Periodicals, reports, letters, bibliographies, and autobiographies, journals. You can also have books to analyze using content analysis method, or a journal of Forbes, something like that, the 10 richest Filipino people in our country. So, nandun na yung mga interviews, no? Kukunin mo na lang yung mga thematic analysis doon, gagawa ka na lang ng framework, okay? That's a qualitative research in nature using a content analysis method for the books or journals, and analyzes other instructional materials, okay? For the student, you can analyze the instructional materials of the books that you are using, or you can have a research on a journal or the biographies of all your teachers in senior high schools, and so on and so on. So this is one of my favorite research design in my to all my students in history. I'm instructing them to come up with the research with individual books that they have, their favorite books in history, then come up with a content analysis method for qualitative research, and present a framework on how to have a best book to qualify that output. Okay? Are you still with me po?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes po.
Okay, thank you so much. So another type of research for qualitative research is ethnographic.
Yes, sir.
Ethnographic method. No? It's ethnographic method. Okay. Ethnography. This is for Ariola. My favorite book is Ariola when it comes to research, no, because the book of Ariola is very clear in writing. No, that is why I'm sharing the knowledge of this book to all my students in college as well as in this webinar. No, these are Filipino authors that I'm sharing. No, but I'm using a lot of international book, but presenting it to the student kahit nasa tertiary, I'm inserting a Filipino author because I love their wordings. No? It's very clear. No? They use a clear words. No? The ethnographic methods will state that ethnography has different meaning. Okay. From there, from the different meaning, yung meaning natin ng qualitative research, we are searching for the qualitative meaning of the standing facts. Saan ba nanggaling ang COVID? Like something like that. Saan nag-start? Kung nag-start sa China, saan yung cure? Parang ganon, yung type of research mo. Ano ang mga precautions? So those are your checklist already. Ano bang checklist sa school mo? Pwede nyo gamitin na qualitative research. Ano yung protocol ng school nyo? Pwede nyo gawing checklist yun. Are they doing this? Come up with a comparison of the IATF protocol, health protocol of the IATF and health protocol of your school. You can correlate it using a quantitative research correlational method, something like that. Okay. So number 2, detailing, okay? So this is a systematic process of observing, okay? Observing, titira ka, okay? Pwede kang tumira ng 1 month dun sa mga IPs group or sa isang barangay na puro COVID. Bakit nandun lang yung COVID? Bakit na-confine doon ang COVID? So you need to observe hanggang magka-COVID ka. No? Something like that. No? Kidding aside on that portion. Okay, so number 4. So number 3 rather, describing. And number 4, documenting and analyzing the different cultural beliefs. Cultural beliefs. Okay, that's ethnographic in nature. Practices, rituals, and customs of a cultural group. When we say cultural group, these are different people in a certain place. Like in Region 3, we have an IPs in Region 3, we have in Mabalacat, we have Makapagal Village and Marcos Village. So those are our friends in IPs, no? I also have a study in urbanization for IPs there for 3 months. So I have one research on the ethnographic procedures there. So the meaning of the lifestyle, yun yung pinag-aralan ko sa mga IPs. So there are 5 families. So yun lang ang aking focus for qualitative research using ethnographic method of research. So sila yung interview ko, anong kinakain ng bawat pamilya, anong trabaho ng bawat pamilya, ilan yung anak nila, anong culture nila, and so forth and so on. For the information of everybody, kapag nag-mens na ang isang dalaga sa aking research dun sa IPs na yun, so pwede na siyang mag-asawa. That's their culture. Okay, saan nanggaling yun? Saan nanggaling yung cultural beliefs na yun? Pag-aaralan mo yun, paano mo paputunayan na lahat ng batang babae kapag meron na silang menstruation, ay pwede na silang mag-asawa. Those are culture beliefs of a certain group of people that you need to qualify. The qualitative type of research is called ethnographic research. Okay, the process of conducting ethnographic studies involves intensive and rigorous field office sessions. Pag sinabi natin intensive and rigorous, matrabaho to, no? Tedious, no? Mahirap gawin. Mahirap gawin in the sense that writing takes place, no? For the student, do not be afraid to use ethnographic method for qualitative research kasi nandiyan naman yung mga teachers nyo, no? Meron naman kayong mga advisor on this, no? A simple 2 to 3 paragraphs nowadays will be valid for explanation, and related literature, konti na lang as per as the agreement of the research instructor, pwedeng 10. Pwedeng 10 related review of literature. Pwede kayong mag-range kung ano yung agreement ng research instructor para makapag-come up kayo ng qualitative research. Most importantly, sa senior high school, hindi kagaya ng mga college student under the tertiary level na merong siyang range na 20 to 40 related literature, combinations of local and international researches in terms of related literatures. So it's all about agreement, no? It's all about coming up with an idea that we need to find out later on kung ano yung research gap and conclusion na may bibigay ng mga senior high school students pag natapos nila gawin yung kanilang research output. I think that is very beneficial, no? We are looking at the idea, not really the content of the research, scholastic content. I'm referring to the scholastic content, no? Of course, we need to look on the content, no? But let us give the benefits of the doubt to the student that these are first-timer researchers, no? If I will be the research instructor, I will be requiring them to write spontaneously, and then I will be organize their thoughts using prepositioning. We need to teach all of this kind of style in research for them to write very well, no? Yung una pa lang na first paragraph, pag hindi na nasulat yan, ma-demotivate na yung mga bata. So teaching research is very rigorous, no? This is a systematic process. So number 1, you need to teach them the proper way on how to write research, no? Kapag nagpro-propose ng research, kailangan makita yung title. Ako po kasi yung style ko, my dear student, if I will be discussing this quantitative and qualitative research, I'll be presenting a title, and then I'll be presenting a statement of the problem, and then as a framework. Okay, before I will go further to qualitative research and quantitative research. But I am trying the very best that I can to share the design. No, uh, clear kasi instruction that I need to adequately describe what is a research design for qualitative research and quantitative research. Okay, that is for Adanza et al. On the other hand, he made mention that ethnographic method of research is seen by concerned with the environment or setting where the behavior occurred. Okay? So it's an environment, like for example, in a barrio, okay? Isang barrio lang yung pag-aaralan mo ng cultural beliefs or practices or rituals. No? You can also study their behavior if you want using an ethnographic method of qualitative research. No? That's their environment, that is the setting of their behavioral patterns. No? We are not comparing beliefs here, we are not comparing practices here. We're trying to qualify their behavioral occurrences in comes to research output. Okay? Para maintindihan po natin kung ano yung behavior ng bawat isa. Okay? Because we have our individual differences when it comes to behavior, beliefs, practices, rituals, and customs. Okay, so number 2, the general frame of the reference that directly influence current decision making about specific issues, that is CARP, according to CARP 1989, and having the purpose of number 1, these are the following purpose: discovering and describing the culture of people or an organization. Okay, if you want to discover and describe culture of a people, you can use ethnographic methods using a qualitative research design. Okay, letter B, understanding social phenomenon from the perspective of the participants. Okay, a social phenomenon, you can use this COVID-19. This is a social phenomenon on ang perspective ng Manila. Bakit sa Manila naka-quarantine? Bakit dito sa Pampanga naka-quarantine kahit naka-open lahat and so forth? What is the perspectives on that? Bakit sa ibang bansa wala ng COVID dito? Bakit dumadami? Okay, these are all perspectives. No? In research, we need to prove our perspectives based on data, based on numerical data, that is quantitative data, based on quality of the meaning of facts, that is qualitative research. Okay? So lastly, the analyzing and context of participant and rating their stories. Okay, stories, storylining, no, narratives. Okay, these are the verbatim stories of the people. Okay, kung ano yung sinabi nila, you can quote it, and then you can analyze it using qualitative research. Okay, and using an ethnographic methods design. Okay, the following characteristics of these methods are the following. No? Reflexive orientation of the ethnographer. Okay, you will be the ethnographer. Okay, and number 2, hypothesis free. So wala siyang hypothesis analysis in a relationship. Ganyan. Is there a significant relationship and so forth and so on? Wala siyang ganon because this is a qualitative research. No statistics. Dito sa no statistics na to, ina-argue pa natin to kung no statistics talaga siya. No? They are finding a program that proves na meron din siyang statistics. So I believe siguro kung ilang tao lang yung participants, that would be the statistic. But we need to go further on these non-statistics. Ethnic data ongoing, okay, thick description and limited generability. No? That's according to Adanza et al. 2009. Okay. And lastly, this is the last one, a phenomenological method of research for qualitative research. Okay, this method of research examines human experiences through the description provided by the people involved in the research process. Okay, this is examining a human experiences. No, yung mga experiences natin. No? These are the perceived experiences. So kapag nag-i-interview ka ng mga tao, yung mga perceived experiences ng mga ini-interview mo. So, kung ganun lahat ng style ng gagawin mo, so you can use phenomenological method of research design using qualitative research. Okay? So, the human experiences are lived experiences of the people. In layman's term, ito yung makatotohanang nangyari sa kanila. Like, for example, yung mga tao sa Manila, what are their lived experiences experiencing COVID-19 pandemic, parang gano'n. Okay? You can interview them using social media if you want that platform and so forth. On the other perspective, this type of research was categorized as, number one, research method, okay, process, okay, approach, okay. So tatlong perspective ang kailangan para sa phenomenological research. No? Using a qualitative research method, the process is very crucial, no? Mga lived experiences. Using what? Later, I will show you how, anong kailangan natin gamitin para maka-come up tayo ng qualitative research. Kanina sa quantitative research, nasabi ko that you need to use checklists, statistical tools, okay, survey questionnaire. Sa qualitative data, iba naman ang ating gagamitin. Pag nagka-qualitative research design ka, iba sa quantitative design kung gagamit ka ng statistical analysis or data analysis rather. How to conduct the phenomenological method of research. Ito yung process din sinasabi ni Adan sa kanina. Okay? Number one, you need to investigate a particular phenomenon. Okay? What do you want to investigate? Okay? What do you want to investigate a particular phenomenon? Okay? Investigate a general essence of that phenomenon. Okay? Relate essential relationship among the essences of that phenomenon. Watch mode of appearance. Watch the constitution of phenomenon. Relate things in general essence and perform creative synthesis. Okay, these are all phenomenological method approach design. Okay, so to understand this method, you need to have a particular interview guide. Okay, or the so-called close-ended interview. Okay, for interviewing such phenomenon on such viewpoints, on such perspectives of the individual. So time check, it's 7:25 on my watch. So how? Ito yung kailangan nating gamitin. Yes, okay po. Ito yung kailangan nating gamitin for qualitative research design. So how? So documentary analysis. Okay, if you want to study the documentary analysis, so gagamit ka ng mga documents, standing facts. You can also use a SWOT analysis. You can find their strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. That's so-called SWOT analysis. You can also use the FGD approach or the focus group discussion. Kapag sinabi nating focus group discussion, my dear students, these are the 5 people or 3 people in one sitting na in-interview natin. Kung gusto niyo naman ng individual, ang tawag natin doon is focus discussion, FD approach. Okay, so individual mo silang interviewin. Like in my case, I interviewed 24 people. So for my qualitative research, so those 24 people, meron akong ginamit na close-ended questionnaire and semi-structured interview. So yung 24 na yon, sumagot sila dun sa 10 questions ko na in-depth. Lahat ng sinagot nila, you will be lifting it to your qualitative research. Ang tawag doon is verbatim. Okay, verbatim meaning you are lifting and quoting their words. Kahit mali yung grammar, kahit Filipino yung sinabi niya. So that is called an in-depth interview, lifting the qualitative research result of your interview. Okay? So gagamit ka ngayon ng thematic analysis to chunk or to group the words of those 24 participants na ginamitan mo ng semi-structured interview. Okay? So parang ganun yung style na gagamitin natin. So for me, ito yung lahat ng ginagamit ko to come up a qualitative research. Okay? Later on, baka yung iba nating research consultant dito merong ma-share sa mga qualitative research na paano gamitin, paano makapag-come up ng qualitative research, and paano makapag-come up ng quantitative research. Okay, this is an example of thematic analysis using a qualitative research. So I use this frame for schematic diagram of the thematic analysis in my dissertation. So this is for the use of Clark and Brown. So as cited by Dr. De La Cruz and yours truly, Buerkley 2019. So first phase, no, pag qualitative research design, any research design that I presented, you can use the thematic analysis kasi qualitative in nature. Okay, you can also copy this framework and just cite the authors as thematic analysis is concerned. So you can also change the phase 1 to phase 6. You can come up with 3 phase, or you can come up with 4 phase and 5 phase and 6 phase as well. So first phase, familiarizing oneself with the data gathered. Okay? Pag samasamahin lahat ng 24 na in-interview mo, lahat ng sagot nila. Okay? Like for example, you have your semi-structured interview questionnaire, 10 yung question. So that's the first phase. Pag samasamahin lahat ng 24. Okay, second phase, generating initial codes. That involves the production of initial codes from the data. Ang ibig sabihin ng second page, dun sa 24 na yon, pipili ka ngayon ng mga, pagsasamahin mo yung number 1. Lahat ng yon, you group it. Lahat ng number 2, you group it hanggang sa 24. Okay? Number 3, phase 3, searching for the themes which refocuses the analysis of the broader level of the themes and recreating all the relevant code. Okay. In layman's term, para maintindihan ng student, participant in this virtual interface, so after mong pinagsama-sama yung mga code, pag sinabi natin code, ito yung mga words, no? Ito yung mga words na similar in nature, synonymous in terms. Okay? Pag samasamahin niyo yun, i-group niyo siya, and so forth and so on. And then, yung phase 4 na yun, reviewing mo yung theme. Pagkatapos mong pinagsama-sama, you come up with one word. Okay? Come up with one word. Okay? Pag nakapag-come up ka na ng one word dun sa 24, ng ilang questions yun, 1 to 10, so that would be the phase 5, no? Defining and naming the themes. And the final phase will be the producing the reports. Okay? Those 24, ilang themes ang nagawa mo, maybe 2 at saka 4 na perspectives. I will be showing the example later. Okay? This is a sample write-up of a qualitative descriptive research. Okay? Pwede niyo siyang i-lift, no? Yung mga words ko, nandito rin yung this means, no? I will be reading it to you. This is a sample research design using a qualitative descriptive research design by Gosson as cited by Good, that a qualitative descriptive research includes studies that support the present facts concerning the nature of the status of the study. So you can use this meaning, a kind of research design for COVID-19, because it says here the present facts concerning the nature or status of the study. Okay, it's very relevant. Okay, this means that the type of study gives meaning to the quality and the standing facts that are going on. Okay, perfectly lifted on my meaning dun sa idea ni Gozo. Okay, Gosson also stated that descriptive research test involves queries regarding the subject being studies. Okay, pag dinidescribe mo siya in terms of qualitative, that's called qualitative descriptive research. Okay, so madali lang siyang gamitin. And I encourage the student in senior high school that you can use qualitative descriptive research para hindi kayo masyadong mahirapan sa qualitative research design. Okay, these are my references. Okay, so wait, I'll be showing you my sample research methodology. Do I still have time, dear moderator? It's 7:30 on my clock.
Okay pa po, Doc.
Okay,
Continue lang po.
this is, nakikita niyo po siya?
Yes po.
Okay, this is a complete write-up kung paano gumawa ng research methodology for chapter 2, no? Writing the research methodology. I hope I can send this write-up. You can just quote me and quote the authors here, or you can have a references, okay? So the chapter 2 introduction, I already presented it to you. This is chapter 2 introduction. So this is a research design, okay? A sample research design. When you are writing it, this is a paragraph form, no? Using Arial font. Okay, so kung may format ang inyong research instructor, you need just to pattern your format to the format of your school. Okay, this is another example of writing a qualitative descriptive method research, no? To trace the employment status of a pioneer education graduates. Year lang siya, 2011-2012. Okay, so big sabihin, 1 year ka lang, yung ilan yung nag-graduate noong 2011-2012. So yun yung range mo, okay? Itong studying to, it's used for theory impact evaluation, okay? When you are using an impact evaluation, these are years, no? But you can delimit your study based on the agreement na parati kong sinasabi. You can you can give the meaning for impact Kasi in a collegiate level, impact evaluation are 5 years to 10 years in nature. So to lower it down to senior high school level, if you want to use impact or effectivity of a certain phenomenon, you need just to write there the scope and the limitation of that impact and the scope and the limitation of that effectiveness. And of course, you need to define the word impact on the definition of terms, conceptually and operationally. Para maging valid lang yung research natin, no? Para sa senior high school. Para magkaroon sila ng idea on how to write a full-blown research methodology. So the respondent of the study, ito paano pagsulat ng respondent of the study. Okay, the respondent of the study were the Bachelor of Elementary Education student under the Institute of Teacher Education of Mabalacat City College. 15 Bachelor of Elementary Education and 7 Bachelor Secondary Education. So ibig sabihin, ito lang yung participants ko. Or rather, respondents. Okay? So 15 bachelor and then 7 bachelor. So konti lang, di ba? So ito na yung magiging study mo noon. Okay? Yun lang ang pag-aaralan mo yung mga limang, yung mga graduate na yun. Tatanungin mo lang sila, gagamit ka ng checklist kung gusto mong quantitative. Kung gusto mong qualitative, gagamit ka ng in-depth interview. Lalo na ngayon, social media. Okay? Pwede lahat ng answer nila sa social media, sa messenger. Print screen mo lang yon. Yun ay magiging authentic evidence mo sa qualitative research. Okay? So this is just a simple agreement of the research instructor and the student agreement as well, based on the research tool na gagamitin natin or based on the agreement of the school format, kung merong format, no? May sinusunod tayong research journal na tinatawag or research manual. The instrument of the study, ito yung sinabi ko kanina, the instrument of the study, the close-ended questionnaire, semi-structured interview, in-depth interviews, and strategic analysis using SWOT were the main data gathering tools of the study. Okay? This is for qualitative research. No? In the interview process, sinasabi mo na dito kung anong ginawa mo dun sa instrument. Okay? So, furthermore, focus group discussion, ito yung FGD. Okay, I'll be highlighting it, FGD, focus discussion. So, nag-group ako, tapos gumawa din ako ng individual focus discussion. So, I utilize those to finalize the responses of the participants. Okay? So, yung pagkasulat, pinagsama-sama lang, tapos sasabihin kung anong ginawa dun sa study. Ina-narrate mo siya. Kaya sa senior high school, ang suggested ko is qualitative, descriptive type of research because this is a narration of thoughts. Is yung mga research advisor dyan at saka research instructor, madali lang natin silang maturuan when it comes to writing. Okay? So data gathering procedure, I'm showing now a sample of the research essential element of the research methodology. Okay? So data gathering procedures, so to draw pertinent data of informations and so forth, an interview guide, yan. Anong ginawa mo sa interview, sasabihin mo dito kung gumamit ka ng paper recorded, notes taking, recording, pictures, close-ended questionnaires, interview guide, and so forth. So, an ethical consideration kung sa senior high school meron kayong tinatawag na essentials sa research methodology on your chapter 2, ethical consideration, ito yung sample. So, naglagay din ako ng author dyan. Okay? Naglagay din ako ng steps on how you can write an ethical consideration up to 7 phase. Okay? Using APA 6th edition. 7th na tayo ngayon, right? So, ito yung journal type ko sa the use of the relaxed language. It was published by the paper in Region 3. No? So, ayan siya, yung full text niya. You can read it here and then you can, if you want this write-ups, you can just cite me as the author. You can lift the meaning, you can use the model, inagay ko lahat dyan kung paano magsulat. Okay? You have my permission. Okay? So, yan yung model. Okay? So, data analysis. Kapag nagda-data analysis ka, kung gusto mong qualitative, binigyan ko kayo ng pattern. Ito yung paano pagsulat. Ito yung phases ng thematic diagram. Pag quantitative phase naman, ito yung gagamitin. As I've said, if you will be using a statistical tool rather, you can use a Likert scale or the SPSS program in analyzing the data. So, konti na lang po. Ito yung scale natin. No? Meron tayong tinatawag na Likert scale. using 4-point Likert scale for clearer interpretation of the study. Ito yung sample para maintindihan po ng students. Yung scale, ito yung 4, 3, 2, 1. So sabi ko, huwag kayong gagamit ng 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 kasi meron siyang middle. Kapag 4, 3, 2, 1, mapipilitan silang magbasa. Okay? So yung numerical rating, ito yung range natin. No? You can use interval of 5, interval of 10, as well as approved sa statistician nyo. Okay? So descriptive equivalent, ang ginamit ko strongly agree, agree, disagree, strongly disagree. Wala siyang middle. Okay? So pag strongly agree, that's the highest form. Pag agree, that's the second form. Pag disagree, that's the second to the last form. And strongly disagree, hindi ka naniniwala. Number 1 yun. Yung interpretation niya, naglagay din ako ng interpretation for your benefits. Ayan, paano gumawa ng interpretation. You can rephrase it and paraphrase it. Okay? Okay, ito yung interpretation kung paano gawin. Yan, yung weighted mean and verbal description. Yun ang ginamit ko sa quantitative. Tapos gumamit ako ng Likert scale for scale of data procedures. Okay, so I think that will be all for my sharing this evening. Good evening po. Thank you, Ma'am Karen.
Thank you po, Dr. Conrad. Allow me to share my screen po. Again, thank you po, Dr. Conrad, for that very enlightening talk. For sure, our dear participants are now ready or are now more inspired to do their paper, okay, or to do their research. And they are now confident enough to determine or to distinguish the appropriate research design for their study. Okay, so allow me to read the certificate of recognition. Embracing the culture of research or ETCOR, Educational Research Center, Santa Ana, Pampanga, Philippines, presents this certificate of recognition to Conrad M. Buerkley, LPT, EDD, for his invaluable time and expertise as a resource speaker in the national webinar on Practical Research 1, Qualitative Research, and Practical Research 2, Quantitative Research of ETCOR Educational Research Center, held on April 7, 14, and 21, 2021, and conducted under the advocacy project SAGIP MANANALIKSIK for Everyone, with advisory from the Department of Education. Signed, Bernadette L. Lejarde, LPT, MAGC, PhD, Overall Project Coordinator, and Richard D. Sanchez, LPT, PhD, Head Research Consultant. Again, thank you, Dr. Conrad, and congratulations on your presentation. Okay, so before we have our question and answer portion, let's proceed with the... Okay, so before we have our Q&A, let's proceed first with our oath-taking of the newly appointed ETCOR Regional Coordinators to be led by Dr. Adrian Lawrence P. Carvajal, our overall project coordinator for the Project SAGIP MANANALIKSIK 1-on-1, and also the Dean of the Graduate School of San Sebastian Recoletos, Manila. Okay, Doc Adrian.
Okay.
Okay.
Good evening to all. Good evening to our head research consultant, Dr. Richard Sanchez. And commendations to our speaker for today, Dr. Conrad. May I ask all the regional project coordinators to turn on their videos. Okay. This will be the oath-taking of the newly appointed ETCOR regional coordinators. So, I, please state your name, do solemnly and sincerely promise, swear, and declare
Do solemnly promise
that I will truly and
that I will
faithfully,
truly and
that I
faithfully,
will truly and faithfully, to the best of my
to the
skills,
best of my skills, knowledge, and abilities,
to the best of my skills, knowledge,
skills,
and
knowledge, and
abilities,
abilities,
execute the powers and trust repose in me,
secure the powers and trust repose
exposed
in
to
me
me
as ETCOR Educational Research Center's coordinator
as at
as
core
ETCOR Educational Research
coordinator
Coordinator
for region. Please state your region.
for Region 3.
So help me God.
as man.
So help me God.
Okay. Congratulations to our newly appointed ETCOR regional coordinators. Warm of applause. It's a virtual warm of applause.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations po.
Thank you.
Okay, so we can now proceed with our question and answer portion. So for those who are still reflecting for some of their questions, you may read the screen in the screen our t-shirt or polo shirt for sale. You may contact Dr. Mark V. Sangil at his mobile number 095644844000 or email address at mjsangil.0205@gmail.com. And his account Facebook account link is this po. Okay, so you may also browse the ETCOR's FB page for the other samples of the polo shirt and t-shirt. So for the
Ma'am Krista,
t-shirt, yes po.
ma'am meron po yatang update dun sa t-shirt and polo shirt
Ay, may update po ba?
from Dr. Mark Sangil. For our research consultants
Okay
po,
po.
meron ng mga nakatatak na po yung words na research consultant sa mga t-shirt at saka
Opo.
sa mga polo shirt. But of course, that is exclusive for research consultants only. Pero the public can still buy the t-shirts, pero yung wala pong tatak na research consultants unless they would like to join us. Thank you po.
Thank you po, Doc Richard. Okay, so part of that sales will go back to ETCOR for our charitable activities po. Okay, so sana po ay marami pong mag-patronize ng products po. Okay? Ayun po. So we have already 3 questions po. Okay, Doc Conrad, are you ready to entertain po ba their questions?
Answer them. Medyo mahina na po yung signal. Hindi ko na ma-open ang aking webcam.
Sige lang po. Okay lang po.
Pero is it clear? My voice is clear
Yes
naman po.
Opo.
Thank you so much po.
Okay po. For the first question po, actually, Ma'am Rosemary have 2 questions po. Okay, so she's Ma'am Rosemary L. Amparado po. Her first question is it true that 12 is an acceptable number of participants in a mixed method case study research?
12? Again po, hindi ko masyadong narinig.
Is it true that 12 is an acceptable number of participants in a mixed method case study research? 1 to po, 12.
Okay, in my research perspective, no, I'm answering this in my research perspectives, no. As a researcher, for me, it doesn't matter of how many, no. The question is it true that 12 is a valid number for mixed method approach, no? If it is a mixed method approach, so if it is the agreement of the school, no, if it is a school agreement for research journal, kung meron siyang range, let's validate it, okay? For me, a mixed method is a combination of quantity and quality. Kanina sinabi ko sa orientation ko, sa lecture ko, kahit isa nga lang, pwede kang mag-qualitative research. No? What more yung 12? Okay? For me, it's valid. It's true on my perspective as a researcher. Only then if you will put it on your scope and delimitation that 12 is the valid number in this study using mixed method approach for your case study. Thank you so much po.
Ma'am, pwede pong mag-add?
Yes po. Opo.
Pwede pong mag-open ng camera yung nagtanong, si ma'am, ang pangalan ni ma'am?
Rosemary
Ma'am
Parado
Rosemary,
po.
opo, para po mas spontaneous yung usapan natin. Si Ma'am Rosemary. Ma'am Rosemary, nandyan pa po kayo? Sige, mukhang wala na si
Baka
ma'am.
po
Opo.
na-disconnect po si ma'am.
Opo.
Opo.
Pero ako kasi, di ba ang mixed method po is, yun nga, it's a combination of qualitative and quantitative research. Although hindi naman nabanggit sa mixed method niya kung anong klaseng mixed method ba, kasi may iba't ibang klase pa yung mixed method. Meron tayong convergent parallel, meron tayong exploratory sequential, meron tayong explanatory sequential. Pero yung pagkakasabi pa lang ni ma'am na mixed method sila, yes, siguro sa quali walang problema yung 1, 2, 3, 12 yung sinabi niya, for as long as merong justification yon bakit ganoon. Kasi sa quali hindi naman ito paramihan eh. We are interested in the depth of the story, depth of the experiences, yung lalim nila. So regardless na kung ilan sila, for as long as na na-i-justify mo yon at yung iba yung ginagamit nilang the principle of data saturation in qualitative research, that is acceptable. But you are talking of mixed method. That means meron siyang quantitative research. Quantitative research has the purpose of quantitative research is yung tinatawag nating generalization. And for you to generalize, at least meron kang malaki-laking sample from a population. Para sa 12, hindi ko sure kaya nga gusto ko sanang makausap si ma'am kung paano ba yung ano ba yung pinaghuhugutan ng tanong niya. Kasi mixed method 'yon, may quanti siya. Sa quali sana walang problema, pero sa quanti para sa 12 unless kaya niyang i-justify sana kung bakit ganoon. Kasi 'di ba sa quantity talaga malaking numbers ang mga pinag-uusapan natin. Alangan namang statistics mo pa. I'm sorry baka po mali ako. You can correct me. Alangan namang gamitan mo pa ng statistics kung 12 lang sila, kung 10 lang sila. Halimbawa, sabihin mo bang 10% ng ganito 10 lang pala yung pinag-uusapan mo, ganoon. Kasi nga we are on the generalization. Kung applicable pala ang resulta ng ganitong study sa maliit na sample, halimbawa sa 100, baka pwede rin siya sa 200 kasi quanti ang pinag-uusapan. So, yun lang po, ma'am. Kung saan ang nandyan si ma'am, para mas na-clarify yung katanungan niya. Thank you po.
Thank you po, Doc Richard. Actually po, nandito si ma'am. Hindi ko lang po sure kung may problem po sa connection ni ma'am. Opo. And si Doc Randolph Katungal po, he wanted to add po. May I add that for mixed methods, we integrate quali to quanti or vice versa. We should cite a related literature or study stating that a specific number for informants or participants is allowed. Yun, for quali point of saturation exists. Yun po. So another question pa rin po from Ma'am Rosemary Amparado. Is triangulation required in mixed method researches? If FGD, a part of your triangulation, doesn't work due to non-cooperation on the part of the participants, and you are left with the two methods to video recording and field notes, would this affect the credibility of your research?
I think that's triangulation method design, no? If you are asking for the effect of the triangulation, kung hindi sila nag-answer, again, kapag hindi po nag-answer lahat ng participant, all we need to do is just state there that you have 100 participants, for example. Out of 100 participants, only 70 respond on the said interview or on the said triangulation questionnaires. Parang ganun lang po yung i-quantify natin sa discussion para hindi po ma-affect yung ating study. Thank you.
Thank you po, Doc. Another question po from Sir Cyril de la Fuente. Good evening. May I ask for the difference between documentary analysis and content analysis? Thank you, Dr. Conrad.
Okay, for documentary analysis, as I've said a while ago, this is a type of qualitative research in which document items are reviewed by analysis to assess the appraisal team. Like, for example, you are dissecting documents that involves coding, context, and subject. While content analysis, on the other hand, these are communication artifacts. Okay, these are various formats, pictures, audio, or video. These are social scientists use content analysis. Kaya nga po naging content analysis siya. You are studying the audio or video or picture or books, while in the documentary analysis, you are dissecting the document per se that involves for coding and the content of the subject matter. Yung tinatranscribe na po natin yung mga interview transcripts natin. Thank you.
Thank you po. Another question po from Sir Armido Galivo. I would like to know if it is really a close-ended questionnaire to be used in qualitative instead of open-ended questionnaires.
Okay, either open-ended questionnaire or close-ended questionnaire. Kasi po, like for example, you are interviewing an insensitive types of participants. So, una po, magka-close-ended ka muna bago mo i-open sa kanila yung real scenario na gusto mong makarating. Like for example, you are studying an IT group. You cannot really direct your words to them that full-blown in English, like something like that. So you need to use a close-ended first before you can use an open-ended type of question. Although this is an interview format, so this is our in-depth interview. So when you are studying an in-depth interview, when it comes to qualitative, you need to use various types of questionnaires. Okay, thanks so much, Ma'am Karen.
Thank you po. Another question po. From Sir Ezekiel Abad Santos, Dr. Conrad, is there really a standard number of review of related literature, both for quantitative and qualitative designs? Do we count the literature used in the introduction as part of number of literature used in RRL? Thanks.
Okay, the standard number dun sa related literature, nasabi rin na part ng introduction. Okay? The style po kasi ngayon, ang mga related review of literature nasa introduction part na, no? So that's the latest format, no? Hindi kagaya nung dati, the problem and its background, and then meron tayong review of the related literature. If you are using that format, I will say na kung ano yung research journal or research manual ng school, yun ang susundin. For me, there is no really a standard related literature. It's the agreement of the researcher and the school kung ano yung gusto niyang ipaabot, kung ilan talaga ang kanilang agreement. In my case, when I was studying at my master's degree at Philippine Norman University, we have 40 local and 40 international. When I reached my doctorate level, it trimmed down to lowered to 20 and 20. But it's an organization of international, local, and the local combination of related literature. Wala po talagang standard para sa akin. Kasi po, sa dami ng researches na nagawa ko, it's the agreement of the school, it's the perspectives of the school, it's the research orientation of the researchers and the school itself. Thank you, Ma'am Karen, for that question.
Thank you po, Dr. Conrad. Sir Randolph Katungal would like to add po, if FGD would not work for some groups, you can also use individual in-depth interviews for confidential matters to reveal. Dun po sa last question, ay, sa
Correct.
previous
That's
question
focus
po.
discussion using individual. That's very good. Thank you po for sharing that.
And also po, si Dr. Glenn also add that it also depends on the institution po.
Correct. Very. It depends really on the institution.
I agree din po with that, do, kasi bawat institution po talaga iba't iba sila ng requirements.
Correct.
Opo. Okay, I think that's the last po.
Tsaka
Ay,
sa ano,
sorry.
ma'am?
Meron pa po bang?
It's
Depende
Dr.
rin
Richard.
depende
Okay
rin
po.
sa panel kung yung
Ah,
panel
yes
siya
po. Opo.
kung
Correct.
kung siya pala yung institusyon, di ba?
Yes. Good evening,
Opo.
Dr. Richard. Hi.
Good evening
Good
po.
evening po.
My very hardworking lecturer.
Okay, so
Thank you so much for all the questions.
Opo,
I
I
hope I
think that's the
answered
last
them
po.
well. Okay, I
Opo.
hope I answered them well. Thank you so much po, Doc Richard.
Thank
Doc
you din
Bernadette.
po.
Maraming salamat po.
Okay,
Thank you, sir.
May pahabol pa po ba?
Congrats.
Okay po. Yan. So congrats po again, Doc Conrad. So at this juncture, I would like to call Dr. Ridget Ryan S. Ramos for the closing remarks. He's the school head of the Bacolor High School, Cabantian, in Cabantian, Bacolor, Pampanga.
Okay po. Thank you very
Po.
much, Ma'am Karen Escobar, our D1 moderator. That is Kabalansan.
Ay,
Baka kasi
okay po.
sila.
Kabalan po.
What is
Opo.
important is the school, which is the Bacolor High School.
Opo.
Good evening to each and everyone. Happy evening to all. Are we still here po?
Yes po.
Yes
Thank
po.
you very
Yes
much.
po.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much po. My respect to our head research consultant of the ETCOR, Dr. Richard Sanchez, to our overall project coordinators of Project SAGIP MANANALIKSIK, Dr. Bernadette Lejarde and Dr. Adrian Carvajal, to our knowledgeable resource speaker, friend, Dr. Conrad Buerkley, and to all the participants here in our Day 1 National Webinar, to my co-educators, and of course to our students here who are listening po. Let me share this quote from my kumpare Brian Herbert na po. He said that the capacity to learn is a gift, the ability to learn is a skill, and the willingness to learn is a choice. I'll repeat. The capacity to learn is a gift. The willingness to learn is a skill, and the ability to learn is a skill, and the willingness to learn is a choice. So we have big words here na po as I connect it to our Day 1 webinar. We have a gift as teachers and as students that we have the capacity to learn these new things about Research 1, which is quantitative, and Research 2, which is qualitative design. We have also the skill which is the ability to learn new things, the ability to unlearn new things, and the ability to relearn ourselves. And the last one is a choice. As teachers of research, as students in research, we have the willingness if we are going to apply the knowledge that we heard from our resource speaker. So I agree to Dr. Conrad that he said that we are not here to compare, to compete, or to give the differences of the different institutional and school policies about research design. As we heard from our experts in research that sabi nga ni Doc Richard kanina, kung institusyon, no, depende sa panel, depende sa eskwelahan, depende po kahit kanino man pong paaralan, no po. We are here to deepen our knowledge, the skill, the attitude and values about research design of quantitative and qualitative research. It was explained and discussed comprehensively from how to start the methodology up to the end of the methodology part of the research paper. Dr. Conrad also presented the different samples of wordings and format on how you do the methodology. An excellent speaker indeed, no po. In addition po, no, hindi po ako nag-interrupt kanina because I just want to give this one, no po. I know that some of you or majority of you will going to agree with me, I hope, no po, that in writing research paper, we are very much guided with our own format. For example, in the division of Pampanga, we have our own format in writing research paper. It follows to the school of the division of Pampanga on how our students will going to write their research papers. In the Don Honor Ventura State University, the Honorian way, they called it. In Holy Angel University, the Angelite way, no po. So as we respect to the different institutional policies, but at the end of the day, we will come up only with this: what is the purpose of your research paper? No. At the same time, we are also aligned with the American Psychological Association, and I know today it is version 7, no po, which I know our experts in research here, they have seen the difference between 6 and 7, but hopefully no po mabigyan po ng justice si 7 pagdating po sa mga iba't ibang revisions niya with version 6. But at the end of it, what is the purpose of your research paper? How you deal with your research paper, how you give, or what is the output and what will be the outcome of your research paper. Okay, so to our dear colleagues in the department, to my co-educators here, to the students, in behalf of the ETCOR, Embracing the Culture of Research, the Educational Research Center, thank you very much for your active participation, even though that it is only virtual, but I know that we are listening comprehensively and doing our own writing notes or journal with this day 1 national webinar. So to Dr. Conrad, congratulations, and to all, good evening po.
Thank you so much, Dr. Jen.
Thank you po.
Ma'am Kay,
Yes po.
okay lang po ba? Mag-a-add lang ako dun sa
Ay, opo,
sinabi ni
sure
Sir.
po.
Although
Sure po.
nag-closing na po siya, no?
Opo.
Hindi, maganda po kasi yung pinupunto ni Dr. Ramos. Yun nga, meron pong iba't ibang pamamaraan, format ng pagsulat. Kasi alam naman po natin ang research writing. Although, syempre, ang pinakamahalaga sa research writing, yung contents na tinatawag nila, yung laman ng research na ginagawa mo. Pero sa ayaw at sa gusto natin, research writing involves technicalities. Kaya nga minsan magugulat ka, pinasa mo agad-agad sa advisor mo, 2 months, 3 months kang nag-antay, pagbalik ang pinapakorek lang niya, yung spacing, yung margin, yung ganitong format. Minsan, sorry to use the term, Nepo, minsan maiinis ka at pagkatagal-tagal mong inintay, ganito lang pala yung correction niya. Yung mas nag-expect ka sana more on laman. Kasi ang tama naman talaga, dapat sa laman yung yung mostly comments, yung entrada nung sasabihin ng mga panel or ng mga advisor natin. Pero sabi ko nga, alam natin na mahalaga ang contents ng isang research, pero hindi natin maaalis that yun nga, research writing also involves certain technicalities. Technical writing, sabi nga nila, meron tayong mga sinusunod na rules, na format na kailangan lang nating alalahanin din. Pero syempre, we're not saying na secondary lang sila. Ang ibig lang nating sabihin doon, pareho silang importante. Ayaw naman nating sabihin na mas importante si contents kaysa si format. Ayoko yung ganon. Although kung titingnan mo talaga, parang siguro para safe na lang, pareho silang mahalaga na sa research writing kailangan nating pag-aralan yung dalawa na yon. Thank you po, ma'am. Thank you po.
Okay. Thank you po, Doc Richard. Okay. So, wait po. May pahabol po ata. Okay. Okay po. So again po, thank you everyone to all our participants po, and I would like to yes po.
Mag-picture muna.
Ay, opo. Naku, nalimutan. Opo.
Para may souvenir tayo sa
so,
kanila.
before we end our webinar po pala, let's have a photo op. Please turn on your video po.
Nagpipicture ka ba, Ma'am Kay, or ako na lang?
Magpipicture pa po.
Sige po. Magpicture din po ako.
Okay, sige po. Yan. Higit lang po.
Paka-smile niyo po. Yung
pinakamagandang
yung may pinakamagandang picture po, may libreng chapter 1 to 2.
Yan. again, thank you po for attending this event. So I hope that you've learned a lot po and you enjoy po this evening in listening to Dr. Conrad's lecture po. Okay, so the evaluation link are already posted po in the group chat and this will be open after the webinar. And again po, I would like to specially mention po our dean of the of our of our college, the College of Nursing under the Cavite State University. We also have
Thank you
here
po,
our
thank you po.
ERB chair, Dr. Bernadette Sapino. So I hope nandito pa si ma'am. Pero nakita ko po siya kanina. Okay, nandito po si ma'am. Okay, so po, thank you po for supporting and also to our other students po who attended this webinar. Thank you po again for the support. And thank you po to everyone. And I hope that you continue to support our future events and let us continue embracing the culture of research. Again,
Thank you
God
so
bless
much
us
po.
po. Thank you po.
Thank you rin po. May
And
nakita ko sa mga bago nating kasama like sina Ma'am Cleotilde Cresini ng PUP Batangas ata, para nakita ko dito. Siyempre sina Dr. Glenn at marami pa pong
Opo.
iba na, pasensya na po. Hindi ko lang
Yes
makita
po.
ngayon sa screen, pero yung mga kasama po nating dito sa ETCOR, maraming salamat po.
Opo.
Thank you po.
Meron din po nakita na ibang nag-mention na meron po from Aklan, from
Opo.
Iligan City. Yun nga lang po, hindi ko na po na isa-isa po.
Sige po.
Opo.
Thank you po, ma'am. Thank you po.
Thank you po sa lahat. Ayun po, for updates po on our ETCOR, pwede niyo po kami i-follow sa Facebook, sa YouTube, sa Twitter. Ayun po.